Hi guys, Ryu here from Blender Bros and welcome to Rendering and Composition Masterclass. First of all, thanks so much for purchasing our course and supporting us, but most importantly, I cannot tell you how happy I am to see you here because what we're trying to achieve with this course is exceptionally important. I see a lot of fantastic works out there in terms of skills and techniques. So you do know the software, you do know the tools, you know how to create complex shapes. But 98% or more of works on the internet that I can see, I'm not talking about ArtStation and I'm not talking about the top artists, I'm talking about in general works on internet, Facebook, Pinterest, all that. Most of them are terrible in terms of composition, lighting, storytelling and all that. You guys are focusing on modeling so much that you're forgetting that actually presentation is more important than modeling. I can make a cube look good because I know the lighting, I know the framing, and I know composition. Give me a sphere and I'll show you a good render. I don't need a complex shape. And this is what I want you to become. I want you to become an artist, a visual artist that knows how to sell their skills. Now, why is it so important? First of all, it will give you a chance to really beef up your portfolio and get better jobs and get paid more for your work. Secondly, it will help you with your modeling skills because if you know the composition, if you know the rules of how to play with details, how to create points of interest, anchors, how to deal with visual weight and all that, you'll become a way better at designing. So, you can have fantastic modeling skills and you can, for example, be shown a very complex model and you can recreate it in Blender or whatever software you're using. But can you actually come up with an idea on your own? That's the question. Because to be able to do that, you'll need to look at the references and artistically develop something that doesn't exist, right? In your mind, in your soul. And then composition knowledge, visual weight knowledge, framing knowledge, all that comes into play and becomes the essence of your skill set. So this course should really help you with becoming not just a better 3D artist, but a better artist in general. Now, after this course, you should be able to create really exceptional renders and create really fantastic artworks. We will be covering the entire theory of framing, lighting. We're going to be talking about hacks in cycles and Eevee, and there's going to be a massive practical part on creating an environment. How would we light it, set it up? How would we post-process in Photoshop to create the final image? Let's talk about course navigation and where to start. You can start wherever you want. However, I would really recommend you start with the theory. So the course is split into two parts, theory and practice. And the theoretical part is split into further 3 chapters, which is framing, lighting, and render engines. If I were you, I would really start with framing and lighting because these 2 parts, I think, are the most important parts of this course. The practical part is important too, but once you go through the theory, you'll have a far better understanding of why I'm making certain choices in the practical part, and it will only solidify our knowledge. So I would suggest you start with framing, move on to lighting, and then to render engines, in which part we're going to be talking about cycles and Eevee, and we're going to talk about settings, and also we will talk about some fantastic tips and tricks on how to make these engines even better. Now, the framing and lighting part, they're basically the essence of my knowledge and experience as an artist. I'm pouring 2 decades of my experience into these videos as a Chinese calligrapher, professional photographer, and 3D artist to give you a solid foundation for any type of visual art that you want to go into. Because these rules are going to work for drawing, for 3D, for photography, for compositing, for literally anything, because all visual arts are based on the same rules. So I would suggest you start with these, then move to render engines, and finally go to practical part and watch these videos. After this course, you should have a really strong understanding of composition, lighting, and all that, and also compositing, so you should be able to create some really astonishing images in Blender. No excuses. Well, that's it for the intro video, guys. Thank you so much for your support once again, and we really hope you will enjoy this course.